Deeply Disturbing Things,
the podcast.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
You're yelling.
Sorry, I like you.
And we're two anxious counselors who like to talk about deeply disturbing things.
Join us. Yay!
Thanks for getting past the yelling part.
I wanted to share this thing that I saw on the interwebs with you. You can tell about your personality by how long your pinky is.
Oh.
So look at the different types. So if the top of your pinky lines up even with the crease on the top of your ring finger.
Heck no.
That's A. If it's taller than the crease, that's B.
Nope.
If it's shorter, that's C.
Shorter. I got a little short.
Mine is
pinky.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
So let's see.
You're an A, I'm a C.
Yes. So A, the even placement with the top joint of your ring finger, then you are a bit reserved and tend to be closed off and introverted.
Yeah.
You do not open up to other people easily,
Yeah.
even with the people closest to you, and especially not to strangers.
Yeah.
You appear stoic and independent from the outside.
Yes, and that's the whole thing is you don't look like anything's bothering you that you don't want. Whatever,
or you get accused of looking like a bitch.
Yeah. I get that too, but my pinky doesn't line up that way.
Dishonesty angers you more than anything else. I do hate dishonesty.
Yeah.
And it goes against my makeup. You're a genuine, forthright person who goes out of your way for your loved ones. True. And expects them to do the same. True. Despite going out of your way for your friends and family, strangers can see you as cold. I have been accused of being people were scared or intimidated when they first met me.
Yes. No, I hear that even people who just haven't built trust with me yet, or we haven't gone through something together, that they're intimidated.
Yeah.
And
I'm always wow, because I don't feel like that on the inside, but people are yeah, I was super scared of you when I first met you.
Yeah, why?
In spite of this, you're actually very warm once you open up to someone and can be the life of the party if you're with a group of people you know well enough. That is true.
That is true.
I totally agree.
You
with
are
that.
The life of the party.
Okay, so let's see yours.
I've seen it.
Well, I'll briefly say B.
Yeah, briefly say B.
Loyal to their friends and highly sensitive. Okay. Now let's go on to you.
Definitely not that one.
Type C's are optimistic, lively personalities that negativity cannot stick to. Do you think that's you?
Wait.
Your pinky is way shorter than the joint of your ring finger. You're definitely a C.
Yeah. You
tend to forgive and forget easily, sometimes to a fault.
Dude, I hold grudges like an MF. Are you kidding me?
Your excess energy may cause you to seem self-centered and at times demanding. I don't think you have excess energy.
No, it's more is she responding to me right now?
You have a hard time ceding any kind of argument, especially when you're convinced that you're in the right. Okay, that's true.
No, that's true. I am very stubborn.
At the same time, you'll be the first one to say sorry if things go too far. Is that true? Maybe because you just want to end the conflict.
Not if there's an actual conflict, I will rage, and everything the other person says is completely wrong, no matter what at that point. And none of what you just read is correct.
Familiarity is comforting to you. I think that's true.
That's true. I am a creature of habit.
Gives you a sense of security.
Yeah, sure.
While you harbor a deep fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Stepping out of your comfort zone occasionally will help you grow.
I do. That's why I like to have friends that like to do things, because I really don't want to do it. But then once I do it, I have fun. And that's me as a kid and my dad forcing me to participate and go to the church party. They're all Christian. They have to be nice to you. And I hyperventilated in the parking lot in a paper bag. And I went and I had an okay time.
Well,
I didn't make friends, but I
having an okay time.
Cheers. This is so much funner than that. Just talking about that made me anxious.
I think the A kind of nailed me. Yeah. Speaking in generalities,
I honestly feel like an A. Maybe it's this
maybe you didn't get enough nutrients when your pinky was being formed and you were supposed to be an A.
I'm rather short though, and short people tend to have shorter fingers.
Yeah, again, back to the not enough nutrients at a critical stage in your
okay, but that's just like saying that like your mom had too much coffee while pregnant, which might have been the case too. So I don't know. Am I stunted? Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe your pinky is stunted.
Is it like my dad's bulldogs and the little runt one that just like was
Perhaps,
red lil?
But I mean, there's beauty in all varieties.
I'm a mini Macy.
I'm just saying your C didn't really fit you. It was sort of a mixed bag.
I mean, it seemed to blatantly go against most things other than the like security bit, but like the going, like the energy.
Having excess energy. Yeah.
No, I tend to keep that shit to myself.
Well,
where it belongs.
It's a good thing we're not putting all of our cards on the pinky finger personality test.
Right. I mean, it's not that.
Though I might be taking a glance at my client's pinky fingers from now on.
Whoa, wait.
Are they different on your different hands?
Oh.
See?
What?
Your left one is short and your right one. I think you have to go off your dominant
It's like
hand.
Even. This is my dominant hand. My right one
See,
is
you're
even.
an A. We're both A's.
Oh, don't go by your left hand.
Well, unless you're a lefty.
Unless you're a lefty.
Mine
Look at that. Okay. I have one toe on my left foot that's bigger than the toe on the opposite foot. Is this the same thing?
I think it's the same thing.
My dad
you have
calls
to go off
it
your dominant foot.
my monkey toe.
Wow, it sounds real attractive.
I could pick things up at a young age with that toe.
Hidden talents.
You know, I don't really care at this point in my life. Who knows what?
I don't think I have a hidden talent.
I can do the tongue thing.
The circle?
Mm-mm.
Oh, the roll back?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do the W?
I can.
Mine
just like sticks to itself like Velcro, like a cat. I've got a cat tongue.
Huh.
I hear it's genetic. My mom can do it too.
Interesting.
Yeah. Velcro tongue.
Can you wiggle your ears?
No. I can't
my
wiggle.
Mom can do that.
I can't wiggle facial.
Can you wiggle your nose? Like I can?
I can flare my nostrils, but that's not attractive either.
I can wiggle my nose and I can even control it to one side.
I can't raise eyebrows independently.
What?
That's what I was trying to do.
Then how do you do the Spock?
I have to make a face.
We really should be recording.
We are recording.
I mean, visually.
Well, I can take a snippet. It's been a while since I've done a best bit.
I don't know if we want that, though.
Oh.
Maybe next time.
Are you insulting me?
No. I'm just saying I wasn't prepared.
Oh.
So I have had a ton of compliments on my hair color, weirdly. That's super faded in 100 colors.
Yeah, it's almost there. I have a thing of purple hair dye. Anyways, that's side subject. I'll just like give it to you and you can put it in your own stinking hair. Why won't they do it for you?
No, I have an appointment.
Oh,
coming up.
Which one, you whore?
Oh, with my original. We worked it out, remember?
Okay. So the original came back.
We've decided to stay together.
That's cute.
I know.
Yeah, that's great.
The universe made it so.
I love to see it full circle, especially when you were so anti her a week ago.
I know. It just took some honest communication.
Yeah.
About my needs. And also my appointment with the other person mysteriously disappearing from the record. Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah, you were pinpointed into a corner. I hate scenarios like that of like, really?
I lived it.
Really?
Worked out for the best.
Great.
Well, I'm ready for some
action
topics. Am I first?
Oh, I do just want to say heart goes out to people in Ukraine. We do have a lot of international listeners. So, I know that's something that.
Yes, we did talk about it before we started recording.
Yeah. So we're going to not go into it much further just because we know less than most in general about.
Well, what we're saying is it's really stressful and it's really not something we can do something about. So I think it's healthy to like limit, just dwelling on it and becoming obsessed with it. Yeah. And
we were talking about like a lot of the negative images, like seeing what's happening. I think it's good to be aware of what's happening, but having that like consume what you're doing.
Be aware, but be aware of how it's affecting you. Yeah. And if you're getting really stressed out, then take a break from it.
Because
Which is a great segue to our podcast.
Yes.
We are providing entertainment and humor in a time of stress, which I think is a valuable service.
I think you're going to love my topic today.
I think you're going to love my topic.
Because I sat and was watching a bunch of Ukraine stuff, getting stressed out. And then I was like, well, I could do this topic. And they all were making me really anxious. And then I found this topic and it made my life happy.
Humor is a fantastic coping strategy.
Yes, it's great.
It really is. And sometimes you just need to take a mental break from the serious stuff.
Mm-hmm. As much as possible.
But I get to go first, right?
Yeah, I'm going second.
Then I'm going first.
Great.
Okay.
As long as I get to go second.
I'll let you go second.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to talk to you about Peeping Toms.
Ew. Tom. Gross.
In the Oxford Dictionary.
Wait, pause. Have you ever had that happen to you? Has anyone peeped your Tom?
Ew.
Is that how that goes?
Nobody better be peeping my Tom.
I don't know what that means.
I don't think I've had a peeping Tom necessarily, but I did while I was waiting for the bus once as a teen have a guy across the street masturbating in the bushes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got a creepy letter after I moved into my house once that said, it was just like a one-liner that said, yeah, no, it was just straight up like, I'm watching you. And that freaked me out.
That's a stalker.
That's why all my blinds are closed all the time. Thanks.
Here's a definition from Oxford Dictionary of a peeping Tom. A person who derives sexual pleasure from secretly watching people undressing or engaging in sexual activity. So that's a pretty narrow definition.
So pornography doesn't count though.
Watching pornography?
Yeah.
No. This is like live.
I'm just clarifying.
It's non-consensual is the whole thing.
Okay.
Like if somebody was outside the window right now watching us, we would not be consensual. They'd be peeping.
But we're not doing anything sexual, just to be clear. So
no, that's a narrow definition.
So it could just be anything. It could just be someone watching your day-to-day. Like, that's scary. I'd actually it would make more sense if it was
they're
sexual.
getting if it's like a fetish to them, then it's classified as
Is this like flashers? Or is that a whole different genre?
That's a whole different
thing. Different topic.
Because this is them watching an individual. A flasher is them making the individual watch them. And also in a non-consensual way. I mean, that was like the guy masturbating in the bushes. Yeah. Or twice in my life, weirdly, I have had to look down and see people masturbating and driving in their convertibles.
Ew, gross.
I know, twice. Once.
I know you've told me before that you liked being it was when you were in a higher vehicle.
Yeah, I
said you'd like to look at
this
people.
big monster truck.
Wait, isn't that Peeping Tom though? You like to watch people in their cars.
But I wasn't they
didn't give consent.
I wasn't deriving sexual pleasure from it.
You literally watched someone whacking off in their car.
But I was not deriving any sexual pleasure from that. In fact,
did you continue watching?
The opposite. No, I did not. But they lived in this neighborhood. So every time I saw their car, I would like give them the ew face.
Gross. Ew.
It was a green convertible Jaguar.
Ew.
Yeah, I looked down and I was like, oh, I did not want to see that. It was super gross. So I got out of there. And then once when I was at work downtown, worked on the 3rd floor, same thing, looked out the window, saw somebody masturbating.
Me and several other counselors were flashed at, I forget which location. I don't think it was the Valley, probably downtown too. There was when I was doing
it classic flasher with like the trench coat?
It was like at first we were hearing like, hey, there's someone down in the parking lot, like there's something going on. Like there was just kind of all of a sudden we were hearing rumors, and then we went out there to try to like what's going on, and then there was a whoof, and then he ran.
Is that the sound the coat made when it was opening up?
Yeah. Just like that.
I looked this up in the DSM-5. It is a diagnosis.
Counselors put up with a lot, I'm just telling you, as far as odd things that aren't in our job descriptions.
Not just counselors, I think.
Is that everybody?
There's a lot of professions, yeah.
That's true. Nurses. I mean,
think about servers.
Nurses.
All the shit they have to go through.
Servers, I can't even imagine. I tried being a server for 6 months, and that didn't work out well. It ended up with a guy, like, wanting to date me and I didn't get it. And then he stopped giving me tips when I told him at that point in my life that I was engaged. And then he was gone forever and I lost all my good tips.
Dang it. Yeah. So in the DSM-5, we have voyeuristic disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the category of paraphilic disorders. Voyeuristic disorder, according to the DSM-5, brings sexual gratification on seeing other people perform private activities, such as undressing, being naked, or seeing people performing a sexual act. But it doesn't have to be sexual. It can be just watching somebody just like changing their clothes. Mm-hmm. The voyeur purposely acts in such a manner without seeking the consent of the target. Mm-hmm. So, yes, the affected person is stressed out by these attractions.
You mean it's unwanted
and has shocking. This is in the DSM-5, so this is the criteria. They have sought sexual gratification from observing at least 3 or more unsuspecting targets on separate occasions when they were naked, disrobing,
Gotcha. So it wasn't my window happened to be open and I saw it and then I closed the window and that was it.
No, they seek it out.
Yeah.
But it has to be 3 times. 2 times, you don't qualify for voyeuristic disorder. Third strike, you're out.
Dabbling in voyeurism.
That's right. And then, of course, with any diagnosis, it has to be impacting functioning.
Isn't that the sour cream ad? A dabble, do it.
A little dabble, do it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's sour cream or if that's like a hair gel product.
No, it's a dollop.
A
dollop is sour cream.
So the dab is the hair gel.
I guess. I don't know. I am just also wrong often. I think I'm drunk already. This is great. Quarter of a can in.
So if there isn't feeling stress or if there is an impairment, then we're not going to diagnose.
No.
It's considered to be the most common of law-breaking sexual behaviors.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, though I start thinking like sexual behavior, what other crimes could there be? And they do seem...
Well, flashing, like you said.
Yeah. I mean,
masturbating in public.
I mean, it takes...
having sex in public.
Forgive me, but it takes some balls to flash yourself. That's like very vulnerable.
And I think flashing and voyeurism is dominated by males.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of flashing by women. I don't want to say that it's never happened, but I've personally never heard of it.
I'm sure it's happened, but I think that the image you have is the trench coat opening up and you see the peen.
We have a lot of self-confidence issues.
So, there are risk factors for developing this, including childhood sexual abuse, hypersexuality, and substance abuse. Mm-hmm. However, the relationship between environmental factors and developing voyeurism are uncertain. Voyeurism is considered to be a sexual offense in some countries, since it is spying on the private activities of non-consenting partners. Mm-hmm. It's against the law and considered as a misdemeanor. I looked it up for Washington in our RCW, Revised Codes of Washington, and it's in there, voyeurism.
That doesn't shock me for Washington, but it wouldn't shock me if it's not there for other states.
It's a Class C felony.
Okay,
here.
Okay.
A person commits the crime of voyeurism in the first degree if for the person of arousing or gratifying the sexual desire of themselves, they knowingly view, photograph, or film another person without the person's knowledge and consent, while the person being viewed, photographed, or filmed is in a place where they would have a reasonable expectation of privacy. So if somebody is just... Your cat over there looked in the mirror and made some very direct eye contact with me for a moment through the mirror. Oh.
And we stared and there was a moment and then it was gone.
Cats are weird. That's just
he looked at me like, I see you.
Cats are weird.
Like right there.
He's exceptionally weird. He probably doesn't realize it's the mirror. He probably thinks you're in there, over there on a different part of the room.
Yeah.
He's probably not sure how to get there and he wants to.
Yeah. Through the looking glass.
Exactly. Yeah. So if somebody is in a public or private place where they are assumed that it's private, like a dressing room at the store, for example, or a restroom.
I am worried about those things. I am worried about dressing in where I always look for cameras. Like, I know they're not allowed to have them, but I look for them. I look for, are there any holes, cracks? Like, how well does that door close? It freaks me out.
There are a ton of cases of people being spied on in like restaurant bathrooms or bar bathrooms, where people will drill peepholes and look through.
Yeah, no, I check for that. No peephole. If there's a peephole, I'm picking a different one.
Now, if I'm in the backyard of my house and I'm sunbathing nude and somebody's looking at me, that wouldn't be considered.
Yeah, because you're in a public possible space. Viewing wise.
If I'm able to be viewed like by my neighbor's windows and they're watching me, that wouldn't count.
Yeah. Would you get in trouble though for like indecent exposure, or because you're in your private space?
You're in your own space. There's been a lot of cases about that.
Say that's interesting. Yeah, I've wondered, like, would you get in trouble if you were changing inside but your window like was slightly open?
No, there's been cases and it
okay.
I guess he wants out.
There you go.
There's been cases where neighbors complained that like their neighbors were always walking around in the nude and there was nothing that could be done because they're in their own house. It's like, don't look.
Yeah,
if you don't like
stop looking.
Don't look.
Those poor scarred children.
Yes. So there's different degrees. What I just described would be first degree in Washington State, which is a Class C felony. All right. The reason this came up, this topic for me, is because I went on a hike last Sunday. And at the end of the hike, there was a bathroom, it's one of those trailhead bathrooms.
I don't like those.
I really had to pee because I'd just gone on like a 5-mile hike and I'd finished my Starbucks. And so I was there. Well, these trailhead bathrooms for the state parks are actually very well kept.
That's good.
But as usual, when I go into one of these, I always have the flash of, is somebody down there watching me?
Down where?
In the porta potty.
You mean down the hole?
Yeah. Because when I grew up, I was always told the stories of the guys that like to hide down in the porta potties.
I've never heard that before. Are you kidding me? There's people that hide in porta potties?
Yes.
And just get scat on?
Yes.
Ew. How do you not just throw up constantly?
Well, they like it.
What if you get a tampon chucked in
your face?
They love it.
That's bonus.
They love it.
They love it.
What about like nervous diarrhea?
They extra bonus.
They love it.
Party time.
Ooh.
They love it. So I was told this when I was like a teenager that this was a thing. And ever since then, every time I go into one of those, I have this.
Is this really the thing? Do we have documented cases?
I'm about to tell you. This is my lead-in.
This wasn't like some fear your mom instilled in you?
No, this is my lead-in. Okay. So I have this push-pull and going on inside me because I don't want to look down there because it's gross. It's
disgusting.
It's
how do they get out?
A mountain of diarrhea. How they got in?
How did they get in?
They climb in.
They climb in. How they climb out? Like, it's often a big hole.
I know.
How do they get back out?
Well, it just depends on the type.
What if they get stuck?
Well, then.
Do they have to wait until it gets full enough to climb out?
No, it just varies depending on the situation.
This is fascinating to me.
So
I'm learning so
I don't want to look down because it's gross, but at the same time, I want to check to make sure that somebody's not looking up at me.
Okay. Yeah.
So I always have that controversy every single time I use a porta potty.
When I'm in a porta potty, I go in and I'm always in a panic because there's usually someone like behind you waiting to go into it's an event or something. And then you feel pressured to like be quick. And then the first thing I look is, did someone pee on the seat? Because odds are someone dribbled on the seat.
Oh, I never sit on them. I always squat.
Yeah. You hover squat.
You have to hover.
I wipe it off though, because I don't trust my balance because I may have had a drink. So
but then you're touching it.
No, well, not with my hand. I don't just wipe it with my hand. Who do you think I am? I take toilet paper, I wipe it off the seat as a common courtesy. I put it down in the hole, and then I hover and I do my derby stance, and I pees. I have never thought about someone being in there, and then I'm like, feel dirty because they never have hand sanitizer in there. Sorry, go on.
Let me share a special kind of Peeping Toms with you.
Great.
Porta Potty Peepers. I am just sharing a couple examples. There are numerous
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Of Porta Potty Peepers out there.
I don't like it at all.
In 2005 in Albany, New Hampshire, police said they got a call from the parents of a teenage girl who said that when she went to use the facilities, she saw a man's face staring back at her from the hole. Can you imagine?
You know what I'd do is I would probably poop on his face.
But what if you went in and looked down and you saw a face looking up at you? What would you do?
I would probably scream and run out, honestly, while trying not to shit myself.
I think that's what happened in this case.
Yeah.
This individual was hosed off before police cuffed him. Because
you don't want them in your cruiser.
When they bring them out, they're completely drenched in all the contents of the porta potty. Everything that's in there. Can you imagine? You have your poo, you have your pee, you have your toilet paper, you have tampons maybe. Who knows what you have in there? You could have a condom. You could have a condom. So many things.
No. I feel like if I was well composed, I'd want to just shame them in that moment and be like on Game of Thrones. Shame.
The shame. Not me. I would run away. Run away. That's my MO. Run away.
Cross my arms and look at them and be like, really, dude?
Not me. I would run away like fast. Like I would get the hell out of there.
Maybe just start tossing toilet paper at their face. Like make little balls.
I just wouldn't have the wherewithal.
I wouldn't either. You already found out by my pinky measurements.
In 2008 in Tulsa County, Oklahoma.
I've been there.
An Oklahoma man was arrested after peering at women.
Does not shock me.
On the toilet while he hid below in the bowels of an outhouse.
Do they have to say bowels? Come on.
Yes, they do.
that person who wrote that was like.
I know, it's funny. The sheriff's office was initially called to the public washroom of the park because of reports of a body in the septic tank. People thought there was a dead body in there.
Ew.
A woman and her 7-year-old daughter said they saw the man looking at them from below the toilet in the outhouse.
Gross.
Ranger Hayes stated that he had removed the plastic stool and toilet seat by lifting it, and the male stood up and talked to him, the police report states. Can you imagine what the police are saying to these people? Like, really, guy? Come on out. But don't touch me. Don't shake off like a dog at all right now.
That's one of those, we listed jobs that are really hard. And I couldn't even imagine.
The arresting officer said the man was standing with his head through the hole covered in feces. The man was helped out of the hole and cleaned off with a fire hose.
That's some force. Poo flying everywhere.
The man claimed he'd been knocked unconscious by his girlfriend and dumped in the toilet, but the police report
I wish that were true.
Said he had no injuries consistent with those claims. He was charged with being a peeping Tom.
Wow. And the thing is you got to know those police were really wanting him to have been knocked out and fell in the toilet. That was definitely the scenario that was the better option.
So every example that I looked at was a male, at least identified on the reports male. So that's why it's called a peeping Tom rather than a peeping Tina or whatever.
Peeping Tina. Our topics are very different. However, both of ours will talk about types of
fill
in the blank.
Okay. I'll share one more example with you.
Literally it.
We can maybe find deeper connections as we go.
I don't know. I don't see it, but maybe.
I'll share one more example.
Okay.
From 2011, Vail, Colorado.
Mm.
A Colorado man whoop, whoop, hid in the tank of a portable toilet at the Hanuman Yoga Festival to spy on women.
Oh, yoga. They get all gassy from bending in places.
He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and 10 years probation. His name is Luke Crisco. And he was 31 years old. He pled guilty to attempted unlawful sexual contact and 2 burglary counts. He was arrested after...
What did he burglarize?
I don't know.
Okay,
he burgled something. He was arrested after a woman at the yoga festival noticed something moving in the tank of the portable toilet, which would give me a heart attack.
That would freak me out.
I mean, you go in there and you see something shifting and moving under the poo? Come on.
No.
Then the woman saw a feces-stained man emerge and run away. So he ran away, and he did confess to hiding in fresh feces at the yoga festival.
How do they not just throw up all the time?
Because they like it, Macy.
Well,
they
it's not a matter of like. I mean,
it is. They're not grossed out about it. They have gratification.
It's like a natural.
I think you can override it. Just like some people like a golden shower, like that might turn someone's stomachs, but if it's your fetish, you like it and you're not going to get grossed out by it. You're thinking really hard right now.
I know. I was picturing.
Remember, what was McAfee? He liked being pooped on. He didn't get grossed out by it. He liked it. Remember the soft serve?
I just can't. I'm trying to put myself in that scenario.
Well, it's tough for you because it's not your fetish.
I have an easy gag reflex. If you throw up, I'm going to throw up.
It's not your thing, and that's okay.
You smell like poop, I'm probably going to throw up.
It's not your thing.
Actually, that's not true. But if you pooped on me, I might throw up.
See, if it's a consensual thing with 2 people, whatever gets you through the night. But see, this is non-consensual
pooping on faces.
No, watching the pooping. It's not
watching the poop as it comes down
or
onto
pee
your face.
Or what have you. It's non-consensual. So
maybe that's a robbery from the inside because he probably opened his mouth or something.
It's a gross invasion of privacy.
It is.
Where's my butt bump?
I don't know.
Okay, so Crisco admitted.
I really enjoy his last name. I won't lie. I don't think it relates to anything, but I can admire a man named Crisco.
He admitted he'd peeped on hundreds of women all over the world.
And take back the word admired. I like Crisco.
He was also, unrelated, but he had drilled holes in lots of public restrooms. And so they had to go investigate that, and they found the holes and had to plug them up.
I'd be pissed. It's expensive. Make me work.
He said that he would choose bathrooms where it was like either a dark corner or...
I could see where bars, because women drink and then they go in all buzz and they're not paying attention to little details.
And he could sit in his dark corner on his little toilet perch.
Creeper. You.
Extraordinaire.
You.
So he saw the axe.
I would probably punch someone, though. If I found them in the bathroom looking at me, I might punch them.
Well, but what
especially if I was intoxicated?
Like, just say you're peeing.
Yeah.
And you notice this little peephole and then an eye behind it. What would you do?
I would swear and I would say, I'm calling the police, and I'd leave and I'd call the police. But if he tried to come at me, which he wouldn't, because he's a peeper.
Yeah.
If he came at me, I'd probably do the upward palm thrust to his nose.
They're in a different stall entirely.
I know. But if I tried to leave and then he came out.
I don't think they're that type. What I would do, I think I would just hit the eye hole super hard and hope it jams.
I just hope they're sticking something through there and I can step on it. Do a nice heel,
We're not talking about a glory hole, Macy. This is like a peephole.
I'm aware, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't.
I don't think anything's coming through.
Okay, I hope not, because
nothing of substance.
I don't wear heels either, but
nothing of substance.
A flat can smush just as well.
So he sees the act as worshipful and religious. So here's a quote from Crisco.
I really don't like it being tied to religion.
No, he sees it as spiritual.
No.
Here's his quote. I ended up at this yoga fest and I saw all these hot girls and I was like, I can't take this anymore. So many hot girls.
So many hot girls.
I saw the porta potties and I said, I bet I could fit in this. I'm not one of those rapist guys.
I don't want to rape
see how
anybody.
It's like passive. It's not like overt violent.
Well, probably because this person's introverted, awkward, and has no social skills.
Pinky line up to his joint on his ring finger.
Oh my gosh!
Is he a type A?
I would like to say that my right hand is a type A and my left hand is a type C. What does that mean about me?
That means that your right brain
I'm gonna hold
and
my
your left brain are
100% that
battle.
I agree with that. Sure.
Crisco's quote continues, it was inappropriate and it was an unfortunate thing I went down there. It was the opposite of what I want to do with my life, which is make women feel like goddesses. In retrospect, like
goddesses. Wow.
It was a very irresponsible thing to do.
Full of himself, and I don't appreciate it. You don't make any woman feel like a goddess. Very, very few men in the world ever do.
Well, I mean, there's a touch of delusion here.
Delusion of grandeur.
That he's like doing some kind of service instead of invading women's rights deeply.
Yeah,
when you're in the bathroom, that's like private time. That's my time.
That's my time to
do whatever.
Do whatever I want.
Maybe I want to fart.
I'm gonna fart.
Maybe I'm gonna do that.
Maybe
I'm gonna blow my nose really loud.
Maybe I'm gonna have a really long pee that I didn't expect.
Yeah. I mean, that's my time.
Yeah.
Get out of my time.
Get out of my time.
Luke Crisco. That's all I have.
Did you see that I drank this whole can and randomly I petted the wall behind us?
No, I missed.
Did you miss the wall pet?
It's your turn.
It looked textured and I had to touch it.
Paul painted this. Isn't it lovely?
It's lovely. I like it. Well done, Paul. All right. You don't get to see yourself anymore. Here we go.
Also, we have a new microphone tonight, so I hope it sounds
It's the big,
good.
It's the big blue dick on top.
It does have a phallic shape. It is I think it's called the Big Blue, though.
It is. That's why I called it that. It's the Big Blue Yeti. It's a Yeti microphone. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm glad that you love it. Don't look at my computer. Get away.
I can't see.
Don't around me. Okay.
What do you have? I'm really excited.
Are you excited?
Yes.
I'm freaking excited for my topic. I know I messaged you and I was like,
you told me you were excited and I go, me too.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Go away.
No more Billy Whack monster for me.
Not yet. Again. We're only 100 and this is 136.
Yeah. Or 7. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. We're going to hit 200 fairly soon.
I have an idea for our 140 that I'll talk to you about later.
I mean 140. It should be 150.
No, I was thinking something fun for our 140. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to me later. Are you ready? Don't look at my...
I'm not looking.
Don't look at it.
See it. I can't see anything. I'll take my glasses off.
I'm going to put the blue dick blocking my screen.
Look, I took my glasses
Great.
off. I can't see a thing.
I'm glad. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about something mystical and fantastical.
This is my favorite thing.
And amazing. Can you guess? Can you guess?
Not from that.
Guess. Well, okay. First of all,
candy.
I feel like I need another.
I don't.
Do you not have any others?
I have like wine in a bottle.
A bottle? One in a bottle?
Wine in a bottle.
Oh, wine in a bottle.
I'll hook you up.
All right. So we're going to talk about something really cool when she gets back. She'll be back quickly because her kitchen doesn't exist right now. There's not much she can do in there, honestly. Why are you running into the bathroom with a bottle of wine?
I'm trying to. That's my sink.
That's your sink. I forgot. See, she doesn't have a kitchen. They're rebuilding it for her. They got floors in now, so I felt less dangerous. Like I was gonna fall through to her basement. It's a cool house.
We're going through a kitchen remodel right now.
Oh, it's a good twist top.
And I have no sink.
I have a lot of faith in a twist top.
This is special that I'm giving you a actual
jam
glass
jar
because
you mean a jam jar, a mini jam jar? Are you gonna actually say that you gave me a glass?
Well, that qualifies as a glass right now with my kitchen remodel like chaos life.
3-ounce jam jar.
Well, I brought the bottle and I can refill.
I will refill.
I got this at Costco. It was only $5. Red Blend Portugal. I think it's really good.
It has a good flavor.
Yeah.
Some spice.
And it's a screw off top, so
great.
I save time.
Okay. Thank you.
Save time and money.
I feel like I'm ready now. Are you ready?
Yes.
We're going to talk about dragons.
I love dragons.
Me too.
Oh my God.
All right.
The theme song to Never Ending Story is going through my head so hard right now.
Okay. So here we go. First, we're going to talk about some history of dragons. And then we're going to talk about what the types of dragons. This is how we relate types. If you can find other connections, by all means, look for them. I'm
searching.
Okay.
Porta Potty Peepers and dragons. I will find the connection.
So I was thinking about this, and like dragons are like one of the most commonly used, still currently in modern, like How to Train a Dragon is used in like cartoons.
Rhea's dragon.
Yeah, like yes, Rhea's dragon. Like it's still a commonly used mythical creature. And I was trying to think of like other ones, and I could think of like a fairy maybe that gets used. Can you think of anything else?
Elves.
Yeah. Elves, absolutely.
Unicorns.
Yes. And dragons.
Should I keep going?
No.
I have a dragon hanging in my window.
Oh, a real one?
Well, not a real dragon.
All right. Are you ready to learn about dragons? Because I really enjoyed learning.
Bring it on.
Dragons.
I love dragons.
So it is one of the most popular and most enduring world mythological creatures that had actually been believed to have been real for centuries. So that's like a big difference with a lot of this, is that it was actually believed to be real.
Are you going to do cross-cultural stuff?
I'm going to talk about all the things.
Because European dragons look very different from Asian dragons.
I'm so excited you brought that up because we'll talk about that.
Okay.
And actually you mentioned that, and I realized I didn't pull up that one, but I have it right here in my emails. I email things to myself so then I can pull them up later.
Perfect.
Handy dandy. Okay, so not my utility bill. Thanks.
Oh my God. Do you want to see my window dragon?
Yes, bring it over.
Well,
I'm so excited.
Let's see.
I think you'll be surprised by how many dragons there are. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay.
This is yellow jade.
Ooh, it's a yellow jade dragon.
It protects. It hangs in the window and protects.
That's very pretty. Do you know what kind of dragon it is?
It's like luck dragon.
You might be able to understand more about what kind of dragon it is by the end of this. Okay. Dragon tails are known in many cultures, from the Americas to Europe, India, China, and they have a long, rich history in many different forms and continue to be popular in a lot of books, movies. They just continue. Often being portrayed as like the beast that gets slain. That's kind of the common theme.
I hate that.
Right. It's not clear when or where the dragons first emerged, but the huge flying serpents were described at least as early as the age of the ancient Greeks.
Would you be super happy if I went down to my basement and brought up one of my homemade wooden puzzles that is of a dragon?
I have to tell you that anytime you go to your basement and bring up random shit, it is my favorite. Will you go get it?
Can you talk while I'm gone?
I'm sure I can.
Okay.
I'll give some background.
Because you remember I used to have a puzzle company.
Don't fall through the floor of your sketchy kitchen. Okay, so I'll just give a little background here. So there is actually a book written by Scott Bruce called The Introduction to the Penguin Book of Dragons. In the ancient world, they took the form of enormous serpents, which were ready to crush with their coils and kill with venomous breath. For much of the history of dragons, they were actually thought as being like any other mythical animal, sometimes useful for protective purposes and other times for harmful and or were harmful and possibly dangerous. Okay. Yes, enter.
Here's my wooden puzzle dragon.
Whoa, you have to post that on the Books of Faces. Whoa.
Do you love it?
I told you I've been into puzzles lately and I've been doing puzzling. This makes my day.
This is how Naomi draws
it's
a
Puff
dragon.
The Magic Dragon.
Yes, heavily influenced by Puff the Magic Dragon.
I could tell instantly.
Well, Pete's Dragon was one of my favorite movies growing up. I was obsessed.
Great movie. My aunt actually was the first time I saw that was when she showed that to me. That's a very cool puzzle.
Thanks.
I like
had a legitimate wooden puzzle business when I was 18.
I would say
it's so random.
It really is. I forget it sometimes.
I forget it too. It's like
so random.
It's so fucking random.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's proof. I actually made wooden puzzles.
That's great. Okay, so I was just saying that sometimes they're used for protective or sometimes dangerous. Like it could vary. So, okay. So things changed with the dragon persona when Christianity began to spread. And honestly, all of this information about dragons was new to me. I will be honest.
I appreciate your honesty.
Dragons took on a decidedly sinister interpretation and began to be represented as Satan in Christianity. In medieval times, most people who heard anything about dragons knew them from the Bible, and it's likely that most Christians at the time believed in the literal existence of dragons.
Yeah, why not?
Right? After all, Leviathan, the master monster described in detail in the book of Job, chapter 41, sounds like a dragon. So I'm going to read this to you.
Okay.
Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass in between. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of light. Its eyes are like rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze and flame starts from its mouth.
I love that. Sounds like dragon scales.
Right? So the belief in dragons was based not only in legend, but also in hard evidence. At least that's what people thought a long time ago. So for millennia, no one knew what to make of the giant bones they were finding around the world, and people didn't know about dinosaurs back then. So a lot of assumptions came that these were dragons.
And maybe some are.
And maybe they are. I like you holding hope. I appreciate that.
You know I'm an optimist.
You are. Is that the right? You should be a short pinky.
Did they say optimist?
Yeah. I was like, that's not me. I'm a pessimist if anybody knew it.
No, I'm like
looking at our hands. Pinkies. Look at your hands. Okay.
Mine are still the same.
Okay. Picture a dragon in your mind. Describe to me what you see.
Well, I'm looking at, it's hard to separate out what I'm looking at.
I forgot.
I mean, I really was obsessed with like Puff the Magic Dragon and Pete's Dragon. So kind of that.
The magic dragon
lives by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in the land of Hanabi. I know. I sing that to Stella all the time. I know all the words.
That's so great. And until I found out that was probably about drugs.
Well, it's actually a very sad song.
It is a very sad song. Isn't it about heroin?
No, it's sad. It's about like
I think it's about drugs.
That kids grow up and that's
Puff
sad.
the magic dragon.
I don't think it is.
I think it's about chasing the dragon.
I don't. Because it's Peter, Paul, and Mary. They're like folk singers.
They were obviously on the drugs.
I find
I've had every time of wine. I'll just assume
every time I sing that song, I have heartache.
It is a sad. I have to say the tone is very sad.
Well, the part about dragons live forever, but not so little boys. What is the word I'm thinking
of? Melancholic.
It's a very your kids grow up and they lose that childhood fantasy. That's the part that's sad.
In a land called Honolulu. Is that right?
Yeah.
Honolulu? Yeah. I like the movie a lot.
Dragons live forever, but not so little boys.
Aww, like you're growing up.
Yeah, that's why it's sad.
It's like a Peter Pan story almost.
Well, it's sad because it's true. Like your kids lose interest in all that young imaginative stuff.
I still have my stuffed animals from my kid.
Well, my 25-year-old still plays with Legos, so there's that.
So maybe Puff the Magic Dragon lives in us all. Okay, so
I have two images.
Okay, tell me your.
I have like the classic Chinese dragon, you know.
Yes.
And then which is like more wormy and long. And then I have like this, like that kind of cartoony Disney sort of
big old tummy rump
dragon that's more rounder and has the big wings. Yeah. So those are kind of my two dragon images.
Yeah. Some dragons have wings, others don't. Some dragons can speak or breathe fire, others can't. Some are only a few feet long, while others span miles. And some dragons live like under the ocean, while others live in caves and mountains. If we go to like The Hobbit,
yeah,
there's a representation of a money hoarder. Smaug, yes. So as folklorist Carol Rose's books called Giants, Monsters, and Dragons, an Encyclopedia of Folklore, Legend, and Myth says, dragons have composite features from many other beasts. So this is what I found interesting is over time, other elements of animals formed into dragons. So in India, they would often have the head of an elephant. I didn't know that. That of a lion or bird of prey in the Middle East.
Interesting.
Or numerous heads of reptiles such as serpents, and their body color could change from green, red, and black to unusually like yellow, blue, or white dragons. So a wide array. Zoologist Carl Schuker described a wide variety of dragons in his book called Dragons: A Natural History, including giant snakes, hydras, gargoyles, and dragon gods, and more obscure variants like basilisks, weirvins, don't know what those are, and cockatrices. At its root,
sound like a lot of cool cryptids.
At its root, it's like a chameleon. Its features adapting across literature and time. Dragons really have captured the imagination. A lot of fantasy books and movies. How to Train Your Dragon,
amounts.
Game of Thrones, like they're used all the time. So the role-playing game Advanced Dungeons and Dragons has more than a dozen variety of dragons, each with unique personalities, power, and other characteristics.
I've never played D&D.
I've never had either, but I feel like if I got into it, I could have been sucked into that world.
No, you absolutely would have, because you were a play inside kid.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought they were like just to the nerdy side of us, quotes, us, my friends over here, and they were on the other side of the wall playing D&D. I never played the D&D.
I got invited.
But I was close.
Like 6th grade, like.
And now I like puzzles. So
yeah, like that late 70s, early 80s. I got invited. I probably sat down at a table during some kind of in D&D incident. And
I can't remember.
It wasn't like I had no compassion for it.
There is a show, and I cannot, in this current state, bring it to my mind, that does like D&D reenact, like that. It's an animation show. Gosh, this is gonna kill me. Where they do like create an animation around what's happening in the D&D, and I really enjoyed that.
My older son, super into it, has tons of like books and all kinds of stuff. I wish he was here. We could get his input on D&D. He's going to be on the podcast though when I'm in Portland, because he'll actually have a Thursday off.
That's great. Do you know where the word dragon comes from? I don't know. I didn't know either. Ancient Greek word called draconta.
Yeah, that's why Draco Malfoy.
Right. Which means to watch, which I thought was interesting.
Watchful.
Because like they're often used as like the sinister thing to battle and kill, but like the meaning is to watch.
But sometimes they're fun.
It's interesting. Sometimes dragons are fun. So really this came to like they guard treasure, or they guard something, maybe not even physical treasure, but like this concept of wisdom or knowledge that they guard. There's it doesn't really make sense that they only care about money, like in Smaug. Because like what do they use with that really?
I know. Are they shopping all the time on Amazon?
Don't buy anything, to be real. It's more of a symbolic measure, not for the hoarding dragon, but instead of like a reward for the brave warriors, such as the Knights of Camelot, who would vanquish the evil beast. So it's like the bigger the bounty that the dragon was hoarding, the bigger the reward, the bigger the feat this was. It had less to do with like the dragon somehow had monetary gain in keeping the money. It was
more like about power and control.
Yeah, yes. I feel like dragons have a bad reputation in some cultures.
Some, yeah.
Dragons are one of the few quote unquote monsters that are casted in mythology as a powerful and fearsome opponent to be slain. They don't simply exist for their own sake. Often they are for the sake of others, for whatever that reason may be. So largely as a foil for bold adventurers. Other mystical beasts like trolls, elves, and fairies. We mentioned some of those. We forgot trolls.
We forgot trolls.
But that is true, right? But honestly, not as often, to be fair. Those interact with people, sometimes mischievously, sometimes in a helpful way, but their main role is not as a combatant. Typically, other than if you're a goat and you're Billy Goat Gruff crossing over the bridge and there's a troll under the bridge. That's combatant. I hope you're enjoying this as much as me. All right.
I love it.
The Christian church created legends of righteous and godly saints battling and vanquishing Satan in forms of dragons. The most celebrated of these was Saint George the Dragon Slayer, who in legend comes upon a town threatened by a terrible dragon, and he rescues a fair maiden, because we always need to be rescued, and protects himself with the sign of the cross and slays the beast. Town citizens are so impressed that they all convert to Christianity. No side agenda there at all. Okay. Vanquishing a dragon was not only an important career opportunity for any ambitious saint or knight or hobbit, but according to legend, it was also a way to...
Long live Frodo.
So this is interesting. It was a way to raise armies. And then I thought that, and I thought like, oh, maybe like, oh, there's a dragon. We're going to raise an army. Wrong. Here we go. So I want this book. And I'm going to order it. It's called Encyclopedia of Things That Never Were in 1987.
Ooh.
Right? Isn't that interesting? Encyclopedia of Things That Never Were. They said, the use of dragon's teeth provides a simple method of expanding the armed forces of a country. It was first practiced by Cadmus, king of Thebes. First, prepare a piece of ground as though you were sowing grain. Next, catch and kill any convenient dragon and draw all its teeth. Sow these in the furrows of the prepared land, cover lightly, and stand well away. Sounds easy now, right? Okay. Next, veteran warriors clad in bronze armor and armed with swords and shield would emerge from the earth and stand in ranks according to the way which the dragon's teeth were sown. apparently these Draconis dentata soldiers.
Say those soldiers' names again.
I thought I did so good the first time. You're going to ruin me by making me say it twice.
Draconis. What was the second one?
Draconis dentata.
Dentata. Oh, like teeth. Okay, got it.
Are a quarrelsome lot, and they'll turn on each other if they don't have an enemy in front of them, because that's that, like, they need an adversary, and if they don't, they'll turn on each other.
Got it.
So, like, I thought that was really interesting. Scholars believe that fire-breathing elements of dragons actually came from medieval depictions of the mouth of hell. So, like that, almost like a flasher, but different.
Similar sound, different impact.
Versus
okay. Yeah. Longer versus shorter.
Yeah. So, and that's been depicted in a lot of art as well. They often have literal mouths with flames and smoke coming out, and the characteristic is supposed to be Hades coming out of their mouth.
Got it.
To show a literal existence of hell. Interesting, right? Okay, so are dragons real is the next question.
Yes.
Medieval theology aside, few people believe in the literal existence of dragons today. Like Bigfoot might be, like, some people are like, oh, Bigfoot might exist. Or there's like some diehard Bigfoot fans. There's not.
I'm 80% Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's like not that essence about dragons. Most people are like, by this time they're so big or whatever, we would have seen a dragon by now.
I'm 100% ETs though.
I hate you. Those are my triggers.
I mean, no, not like that.
I almost said animals.
Just extraterrestrial.
You brought it up. That's my trigger.
I'm not talking about like.
I don't care. I'm gonna now have nightmares because I pictured it instantly in my head.
Why do you got to picture the scrabbling?
The red vision.
The scrabbling.
The red vision of my dream and of it running behind me. What does scrabbling mean?
That's that.
Why do you keep repeating that?
Because I want you to have that word to associate with your nightmare.
I don't like it.
It's called scrabbling.
I repeat nightmares my whole entire life, and that is that. And then being little in a world where dinosaurs come out, and I'm little, like trying to escape out of cabinets.
Ooh, I've
from
never
dragons,
about
or
dinosaurs.
Not dragons, from
that
dinosaurs.
Cool. I want a dinosaur dream.
It's really stressful because you're so small.
No, I love that. I want to dream that tonight. I'm going to wish it into existence.
My third, so I only have 3 repeat dreams. It's the ET dream, it's the me small and dinosaur dream, and then the third one is like there's a wolf outside of my dad's house where he lives now, and I'm trying to keep the door shut because there's this wolf like lurking, and all of a sudden either a person I care about or a small animal trying to get in, like whimpering and crying, or the person's like, let me in, and I'm so scared that the wolf would get in that I don't let them in, and then I watch them get attacked and eaten and dragged off in the woods. That's one horrible. By one. Yes, those are my 3 repeat horrifying nightmare dreams.
Last night I dreamed about wearing a whole bunch of emeralds to work.
You're worried about it?
No, I dreamed about that.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
And I was planning for it.
Emerald is my birthstone.
It's my birthstone too, because our birthdays are a day apart.
1 day apart. You can have it too, I guess.
Yeah.
For 1 day. Okay. Where was I?
Well, I'm like, okay. Why did you forget that my birthday is a day next to yours?
I'm not thinking anymore. Here, you said you'd refill that for me.
It
is actually rather good. Okay.
$5 at Costco, everybody.
Okay, so only a few centuries ago, there were rumors of dragons being seen and confirmed by eyewitness accounts from sailors returning from Indonesia who reported encountering dragons, Komodo dragons.
Ooh.
Which can be aggressive, deadly, and reach up to 3 meters in length. So this was seen as an actual real dragon at the time.
They're big and I think they can be vicious.
They're very aggressive, very territorial.
Do you remember that horrible Matthew Broderick movie where it was like some 80s?
I don't know who that is, but
you don't know who Ferris Bueller?
Don't. Oh, okay. I'm bad at names and faces.
Okay.
And
Ferris Bueller was in this
context.
horrible movie that had like the Godfather guy, and it was all about like this underground operation to like eat Komodo dragons, basically.
I've never heard of this before, but
I saw it and it was terrible.
Will you send it to me?
Okay.
All right. In a possible parallel to dragons, it's previously believed that
I have to look up the name of it.
The bite of a Komodo dragon was toxic because of bacteria in its mouth. Have you ever heard that? I had. Guess what?
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Oh.
So in 2013, a team of researchers actually did research on it, believe it or not, and found out that their mouths are no dirtier than any other carnivores. And Western scientists only verified the existence of Komodo dragons around 1910 following the investigation of Lieutenant Jacques Karel Henry van Stein van Hensbroek and Peter Owens. I did pretty dang good there.
It's called The Freshman.
That sounds stupid. Okay.
1990, and the other person, I couldn't think of their name. Marlon Brando.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of your name.
So it's interesting because I had heard this rumor that Komodo dragons had bacteria that could kill you because it would just like eat it. Like they're such a dirty mouth.
True.
It's not true. And then I'm like, where did that even come from then? But it's probably this big concept that they're very, very dangerous. And I'm wondering if this dragon concept, because they saw as dragons way back.
They're big though.
They're scary.
I mean, if I had one coming at me, I would be scared.
Yes, I had. I knew someone way back in the day who had a Komodo dragon as a pet. And
is that legal?
Is it a Komodo dragon? Was it? No.
You're probably thinking of a bearded dragon.
No, it was an iguana.
Oh my fucking God.
Was it an iguana?
Iguana is legal and not nearly as size of a Komodo dragon.
All right, I'm done. All right.
Komodo dragon is like big, like a alligator. They're
right.
Big.
You're right. I mean, it was big. I remember it being big.
No, iguanas are big, but they're not that big.
Okay. All right.
And they're easily domesticated.
Okay. Fair. Okay. I said fair. So you are right. There are a lot of different types of dragons, and I have to collapse all these because I read them all. So
let's go through the types. I'm excited.
Okay, the thing is like there's a shit ton of dragons. Let me prep you. So I can't go through all the dragons, but I'll pick a few favorites.
Pick a few, and I'm gonna
I'll
wear
go through regions of dragons and pick my favorites.
I was gonna wear my.
Wear it. Look,
no, it's not big enough for my giant head.
Adjust it. Adjust the strap.
I was gonna wear my yellow jade dragon window hang as a pendant.
How do you not know how to adjust a necklace?
Well, I didn't realize it was a necklace. I thought it was a window hang.
No, it's a necklace.
Oh my God, you did it.
I know I did it.
I'm totally gonna wear it.
Well, over your headphones is a bit large. Can you take your headphones off? No, take your headphones off or you'll be strangled at the end of this. Put this on.
As per usual.
Thank you. There we go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so Asian dragons. Do you have to stick your tongue out like that at that moment?
Yeah, because I'm a Komodo dragon.
That looked very odd. All right. Okay, so there are you trying to take a picture with your necklace on?
Yes.
Wait, let me show my pinky link.
We're taking a selfie right now. I'm sorry. I know it's annoying, but.
Is it done? Okay.
I don't know why it was on 10-second timer.
Okay. Do you want to hear about Asian dragons or not? That's great. No one will understand that. It looks like I'm measuring your boobs.
I know. It's a really weird photo.
I don't care. Listen to our podcast if you want to have any context for anything ever. And even that won't make sense, but that's okay. Life doesn't have to make sense. Life doesn't make sense.
I feel a little annoyed when people make comments and you can tell they haven't listened to our podcast.
I know we have. This is something that needs to come out. Go ahead.
Right, because we've done the podcast, we've shared all this information.
We're like 136 episodes.
And then we'll post something about the podcast, and someone will post something like they are pointing out something new, and it's like, well,
it's either like a newer, like, well, did you think about this? And
it's like, well, yeah, we talked about that in the podcast. Did you listen to the podcast?
Like, I understand it's easier to read quick snippets. That is the world we live in. I think it's a systems problem. However, it's quite obnoxious as podcasters.
It's a bit annoying because we actually put effort. I mean, at least I usually put effort into researching.
Okay. Can I just say my learning style is different than you, and I procrastinate, but there's a reason I have a PhD. I have learned how to use my procrastination well. Am I not teaching you about dragons right now? Am I not teaching you?
Yeah, I just like to.
I'm sorry, I yelled. I'm sorry.
I like to
what are you
do mine
up
on
right
Sunday.
Now? It's stressing me out that you're on your phone. What are you doing?
I'm just going to post our picture.
That's too soon.
I like to spend my time on.
Fine. We don't care what you
the
spend
off
your
time
on. Just post it and I'll tell you about some Asian dragons. Okay.
Doing the podcast and
I'm going to pick the ones that had the most information about them. So there's Chinese dragons. This was a creature in Chinese mythology, and it's sometimes called the Oriental or Eastern dragon.
People don't use Oriental anymore.
That's what the dragon is called. Depicted as long, snake-like creature with 4 legs. It has long been a potent symbol of auspicious power in Chinese folklore, and that's what your necklace is.
Yeah, it's a luck dragon.
This type of dragon, however, is sometimes depicted as a creature constructed of many animal parts, and it might have the fins of fish or the horns of a stag, so it can actually contain different animals. The azure dragon, a dragon that represents the east and the spring season in Chinese mythology and one of the 4 symbols of the Chinese constellation. There's the Dragon King, a water and weather god in Chinese mythology. Gong Gong, a destructive water god. There's the yellow dragon, which is of the center in Chinese mythology. So I don't know, that one's pretty popular, I guess. The Fukong Long of the volcanic element and god crafting. Tian Long, a celestial, and I'm saying all these wrong, but I'm doing my best. A celestial dragon in Chinese mythology. Zhailong, defined as a scaled dragon, is a dragon as well. Panlong, coiled dragon, is an aquatic dragon. And the Shenlong is a god dragon or a divine dragon, a spiritual dragon who's the master of storms and the bringer of rain. He is of equal significance to other creatures such as Tailong, the celestial dragon. There's the earth dragon, Dailong, one of the many types of long dragons, such as Shenlong and Honglong, the yellow dragon. And Kuailong, a Chinese dragon, was contradictorily defined as a horned dragon and also the hornless dragon. So, I don't know. Yinlong is the responsive dragon. It's a winged dragon and a rain deity in Chinese mythology. And then Tang is a flying dragon or a dragon snake. So that is only the Chinese dragons. I literally have Arabian dragons, Armenian dragons, Babylonian dragons, Indian dragons, Indonesian dragons, Japanese dragons, Korean dragon. There are dragons in literally every region of the world for what types of dragons they have, which I thought was really interesting because there's European dragons. So here I'm going to give an example of a European dragon. Do you have any questions about the other dragons?
No, I just really love Neverending Story. That was one of my favorite movies. It continues to be one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Atreyu.
When the horse dies is I cry every time.
Yeah.
It's like Lion King when Mufasa dies in the stampede every time. Horrible. So, Wormhill Dragon, 700 AD, the Anglo-Saxons settled and called it Ruinel. This translates as ruin, which means a worm, reptile, or dragon, and eel means hill. According to local folklore, the hill at Knotlow in Derbyshire was the lair of a dragon, and the terraces around it were made by the coils of its tail. Knotlow is an ancient volcanic event so that may explain some of the myth with the heat expelling. There are also North American dragons. There is the European American dragon, Snaglagaster, which is a tentacled dragon of the Appalachian, Maryland, often said to be cycloptic and a hunter of black slaves. Gee, I wonder where that came from.
That's horrible.
You can see how these build. The Piasa bird is a Native American dragon of the Illini people. Piasa bird is a Native American dragon depicted in one of 2 murals painted by Native Americans on the bluffs or cliffside of the Mississippi River. So there's a lot, depends on.
I was wondering about that.
Came from.
If there were dragons in Native American culture.
Yes, and there were. And
I'd love to see pictures of that.
That's honestly what I found is like there were dragons depicted everywhere. I mean, South America, African dragons.
Which says to me that they were real at one time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's across cultures that had no contact at that time.
And that's typically what they kind of do is like what has commonalities. And the oceanic dragons I thought were really interesting. So in Hawaii, the Keowanhin is described as a woman, a giant black lizard, or a dragon with red or auburn hair. She may be missing an eye, lost in battle with Humai, and Keowain, totally saying all these wrong, I'm sorry, I'm trying my best, is the oldest Amakwai or spiritual helper in Polynesia. So you can see like some of these are ones to be vanquished. Some of these are heroes or protectors. And especially, it seems like the farther back I went, the more they were protectors. And then once Christianity kind of set in, that was more of the using them, like the association with Satan.
Of course.
Yes. So
villainize everything cool.
Yes. So there are some dragons that like there aren't origins for. So there's like the sea serpent, which has been reported worldwide, and they don't really know where that originated from or any kind of backstory to that, but that has been reported worldwide. Sea serpents.
The Kraken.
The Kraken. Well, that isn't that like a octopus-y thing?
I don't know. It's in the sea.
It isn't. It is definitely in the sea. So now I'm going to talk about, I know that I feel like I'm going to a lot of things, but I feel like all these things are important. So important dragon types that every nerd should know. Are you ready?
I'm born ready.
Okay. So let's just say that dragons existed. Evidence is there. Actually, one of the museums has what was originally thought was a dragon skull for a really long time, but it was a like, oh gosh, what was it? It was like not a dragon, but they kept it and labeled it as a dragon for a really long time. I knew what that was prior to right now. Okay. Dinosaur books will reveal a less than surprising similarity to a lot of the reports. We know that, but that's not as interesting. So let's talk about dragons in Chinese mythology are honestly the biggest representations of dragons in like a spiritual, positive, protective manner, as well as Scottish folklore, which I didn't know that side. They're also shared on the scarier side, often more in modern times like Harry Potter and Skyrim, which I love. It's a video game. And even in creatures of Pokemon. Okay, are you ready to get current culture? Harry Potter dragons.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
They had little babies.
Yeah, so the existence of dragons.
Hagrid had the little cute.
They actually varied by species, and a reference to the dragon described by its looks alone would have been enough, but they actually built they put a lot of thought into these dragon species. So from New Zealand's Antipodian apolli, the least deadly if you're human, to the Ukrainian iron belly, that's the type, there are roughly 10 species of dragons. What's the most?
Shout out to the Ukraine.
Yes. Yes. Do you know what the most terrifying is as a reference to Harry Potter here?
No.
And this isn't, I would just like to say, tisk tisk to the author. I won't even name her name as.
She who will not be named.
Who will not be named, but I like the dragon. The Hungarian horntail.
Oh, I remember that.
Right. So they had these ones that were actually described in detail. There's the Antipodean opali, which was New Zealand. Common Welsh green, which was Wales. Hebridean black, Scotland. The Hungarian horntail, Hungary. The lion dragon, aka Chinese fireball from China. The Norwegian ridgeback, Norway. The Peruvian viper tooth, Peru. The Romanian longhorn from Romania. The Swedish short snout, Sweden. And the Ukrainian iron belly from Ukraine. Okay. Pokemon dragons. So
I don't know anything about Pokemon.
I Pokemon in games, not in cards. I just don't have the patience. Of course, there's 73 varieties, not all dragon type, but here's the ones that are specific ranking, like the top ranking dragon types. So there's Charizard, Executor, there's a dragon type, Dratini, Dragonar, and Dragonite.
I've heard of the first one.
I know all of them.
Yeah, it's not my jam.
That's fine. Some people's might.
I do have a son named Ash.
That's true, which is a Pokemon thing. Pokemon character. Mm-hmm. Skyrim dragon. So I am an avid Skyrim player. It is addictive, and there might be a new one coming out. FYI. Actually, there is.
My older son has mentioned that term.
Skyrim. I have probably played through it at least 3 times, and it is my favorite. So there are 16 named dragons. The most powerful are the Serpentine Dragon, the Revere Dragon, Vulthural, Nacilarum, and Vacilarum. You fight them at the same time, so they count together, and then there's the Legendary Dragon. Okay, Dark Souls. I'm a PC gamer, and I want to just disclose this publicly. I play a lot of PC games. I am a PC gamer nerd. Dark Souls is the most frustrating game I've ever played, but one of the most addictive. You die a lot. You don't get any of your progress saved, and there are dragons. So they have the Gaping Dragon. It's the most fearsome dragon in the game, and it's widely referred to by she, her pronouns. And she looks something out of Georgia O'Keeffe's Nightmares, if you catch that drift. I don't know if you do. It takes
a big vagina flower.
Mm-hmm. It takes a special soul to fight off this gal and walk away unscathed. It's a good backstory. Dark Souls does a great job of integrating dragons into their games if you're interested. Okay, so Chinese dragons, whatever you pictured for a Chinese dragon is most likely right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was raised in that culture.
That is the most commonly, if you think of a Chinese New Year parade. I went to one in San Francisco, and that was actually super cool. That was my one and only experience with the Chinese New Year parade, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
I used to always get to go when I lived down there.
However, being in San Francisco meant there was a lot of startup companies involved in that, and I didn't like that part, but the rest of it was cool. Druk is from Tibetan and Himalayan mythology, and it's believed that the Druk were serpentine-like dragons that lived in remote parts of Mount Everest. Right? That's Washington. Some believe that Druk are protectors of the Shangri-La, and others say that they bring sun and storms to the people of Tibet. Wait, is Mount Everest? Wait.
I don't think we're talking about
the same Mount Everest.
Mount Everest is not in Washington State, Macy.
What am I thinking of?
Mount Rainier?
It's not Rainier. And then
Mount
I reached
Everest
out for your chair and it wasn't there. It was
not in our state.
Fine. Fine.
We have Mount Everest.
What's the one that exploded? It wasn't
Mount St. Helens.
Dang it. Every time.
We have Rainier. We have Mount Hood.
That means
at times.
I know Mount Hood because I've snowboarded there. So Reijujin, this is a Japanese sea god. And in some tales of this, he had the ability to transform into a human. Interesting.
Cool.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The wyvern is a pretty standard looking winged English dragon. Though it originally was a different creature entirely, it's now interchangeably in reference to dragons from that area. It only has 2 legs and is rarely shown breathing fire. Reminds me of Trogdor, which is a different reference. If you know it, you're cool. If you don't, it's okay.
Guess I'm not cool.
It's okay. There's a lot of things
I play
here.
outside.
There's like so many dragons. I can't even go over them all. Okay. Do you want to hear some quotes about dragons?
Sure.
And I'll end on that. Noble dragons don't have friends. The closest thing they can get is an enemy who is still alive.
Ooh, sounds like a type A pinky person.
Right. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. That was King Lear.
Yeah, I was going to say,
William Shakespeare.
Where was the first quote from?
That was from Guards, Terry Pratchett, which I'm not familiar with. If the skies were able to dream, they would dream of dragons. That's Lona Andrews' Faith's Edge.
I have no idea what that reference is.
Sound nice?
Yeah.
And the last one is an adventure isn't worth telling if there aren't any dragons in it. And that was Sarah Brithnach from Simple Abundance.
That's true.
Right? I mean, obviously we can just go by Neverending Story. Obviously you need a dragon. I knew someone who wanted that tattooed on them once, like the whole dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon dog.
My ex-husband, his entire back is a giant dragon tattoo. And
is it?
He got that done like in the day when that was so shocking to have a big back piece.
A big a big back dragon tattoo.
A big back piece in itself was like so shocking back then.
I hadn't really thought about how much dragons are still in like so much pop culture stuff and how far back they went. It's really interesting because I don't think they're like Sasquatch, but it's definitely more of a like, what about the dragon is so symbolic to us that we keep bringing it back?
Because they're fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as far as the deeply disturbing part, I think it may have to do more with the marring of the dragon persona during the Christianity. No, I'd say during the Christianity phase of making it Satan, in my opinion. But just there's so much history there of it being a protector of various kinds of
having spiritual connections.
Yeah, with the world in different ways. And I really appreciated that. And like seeing it across different cultures, I had never really known any of that at all. And being able to see what that meant to people. Yeah,
I would like to know more. I mean, I really just know like the European dragon image and like the Chinese dragon image. I don't really know any others.
Well, and that's
I would like to know more though.
That was the hard part, was that there were so many. And that's what surprised me, is I was expecting to do this research and find the Chinese version and then the Japanese version and the Americanized version. And then maybe some dabblings in between. But it's every region has their own 20 different types of dragons, which makes it very interesting to me.
Super fascinating.
All right. Until next time.
I feel like we haven't done this for so long.
When we did it last week. We do it every week, really.
Always look down before you poop.
And until next time. Puff the magic dragon
lives by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. I know all the words, but
that's great. I don't know any more.
I can tell you don't know any of them.